That's realme.com. Promo code FNRME.
Do you spend too much of your valuable time in the kitchen?
Chef Good delivers delicious gourmet meals directly to your door. With options as varied as green sambal chicken, Nonna's lasagna and harissa lamb tagine, you'll never get bored or go hungry.
All FNR listeners can get 10% off their first Chef Good order.
Just head to chefgood.com.au and use the code FNR10.
chefgood.com.au. It tastes good.
The Night Train is brought to you by St Andrews Hotel, 128 Nicholson Street, Fitzroy. Beautifully crafted, cosy and intimate spaces for your drinking and dining experiences.
I think the Knights, their time has arrived. I think last week, that 10-man performance in the preliminary final was absolutely exceptional. So I'm going for the Knights.
When you talk of Knights, it's a real fighting team.
Buskak into the back of the net. Melbourne Knights take the lead 1-0. Melbourne Knights will win the Doherty Cup.
Croatia looking for a finals berth. That's it! The Croatia fans salute the goal that could be so vital.
And good evening, Knights fans. Welcome back to the Night Train. We will be discussing everything and anything Melbourne Knights. I'm your host, Anthony Zovak, and joining me tonight once again, Josh Parrish. Josh, good evening, mate.
Good to be in person this time.
Good to be in person. COVID clear.
Yes.
Everyone's happy about that, mate. We've got a banger show lined up for you tonight. Obviously, be discussing our 3-0 trouncing of Hume at home on Friday night. We'll go around the grounds, a bit of a junior and women's team updates, and we'll be back with another interview live from the ground. Josh, cracking weekend of football.
Yeah, and it all hinged upon the receipt of one text message to my phone earlier this week. Having attended nearly every NPL fixture last weekend, I was very afraid to be the super spreader and send us all back into lockdown. But thankfully, the next morning after the last show, got the all clear from the authorities, and I'm back in person, back out at the grounds, and I had a cracking weekend of football. You were in person to see a tremendous Knights win, and I was there to see a real throwback, the return of NSL-sized crowds to BT Connor Reserve.
Oh, look, apparently Preston's crowd on Friday was absolutely cracking.
At least 3K, at least. Might have pushed 4, I would say.
Yeah. Well, look, it'd be good to see Preston come back up. It was always an interesting fixture heading down there. But we'll kick the show off. We've got a bit of a junior update from Susie. Our NPL teams had a tough doubleheader this weekend, playing Altona Magic on Saturday and Avondale on Sunday. Unfortunately, results didn't go our way, but some competitive football played and lots of positives. They're heading to a doubleheader this weekend with a road trip to Ballarat on Saturday and away to St Albans Dynamo on Sunday. In other junior news, we had our under-10s and 11s participate in the Go Football Cup held at Darebin on Saturday, with our under-10s winning a medal. So great work to all the teams that participated, and better luck next week for the rest of our juniors. Heads up, boys and girls. Our Mini Roos junior boys and junior girls will be participating in the IND Cup, playing against North Geelong, Dandy City and Dynamo St Albans, Strathmore Split, hosted by Dynamo. The teams are pumped up. Come on down this Sunday and watch all of our juniors in action. And in other junior girls news, we are excited to announce the appointment of Michaela Jurcic and Filomena Delic, senior women's players, as coaches for our under-9s and under-12s teams respectively, with Tonya Kolchik jumping on as assistant manager with both teams. So congratulations to the girls, and it's always good to see people from within the club stepping up into coaching roles, Josh.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about, mate. That is what it is all about. Now, just a quick wrap-up for our under-19s and 21s. So the 19s had a gutsy 4-3 win on the weekend to lift them to 5th on the ladder. After going down 1-0 early, the boys got back into the game, went up 2-1 at half-time through 2 goals from Emin Alatovic. Emin completed his hat-trick while Luke Fack added a fourth before two late Hume goals made for a nervy finish. So good on the boys for getting a win. And in a game of two halves, the under-21s drew 2-2 with Hume in a fast-paced, high-quality game. Knights dominated from the first whistle with a high press attacking play resulting in two fantastic goals. The opener was an absolute belter from debut Eddie Colley, so well done for scoring on your debut, young fella. And Luka Korlic jumping up for the second, so congratulations, Luka, Susie's son, president of our junior, so good on you for getting on the score sheet. Hume made a few changes at half-time, got back into the game with two set pieces late, and that draw moves Knights up to fourth on the table, so good results from our 19s and our 20s, both pushing up into the top half of the table, so well done for that, boys.
Yeah, sensational.
It's always good to hear. Good to hear.
And good to hear the rest of the college family chipping in as well for once. You know.
Yeah.
After Susie does all the work.
Susie does a good bit of work around the club, so always good to see people from within the club succeeding. We're going to go to a quick short break and then we will continue the show.
Whether you're a land developer, in local government or a service authority, Lenco Group will help you get your job done on time and in a cost-effective manner. Lenco Group provides superior civil engineering and advisory services by creating, communicating and delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. For all your infrastructure requirements associated with residential, commercial or industrial development projects, visit our website lencogroup.com.au or give us a call today on 1300 152 626.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website, dkpco.com.au, or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Do you spend too much of your valuable time in the kitchen?
Chef Good delivers delicious gourmet meals directly to your door. With options as varied as green sambal chicken, Nonna's lasagna and harissa lamb tagine, you'll never get bored or go hungry.
All FNR listeners can get 10% off their first Chef Good order.
Just head to chefgood.com.au and use the code FNR10.
chefgood.com.au. It tastes good.
Hold on a minute. You're saying the Realme 7 Pro can now access 5G? Realme is quickly becoming one of the most popular and affordable phone brands. With a 6.4-inch display, 64-megapixel camera and 128 gigabytes of storage, we've found your next phone. Usually $599, it's now on sale for $479. And get a further 5% off when you use the code FNRME on any Realme product. Order the Realme 7 Pro now and get a pair of wireless earbuds, the Realme Buds Q, for free. That's realme.com. Promo code FNRME. The Night Train is brought to you by St Andrews Hotel, 128 Nicholson Street, Fitzroy. Beautifully crafted, cosy and intimate spaces for your drinking and dining experiences.
And welcome back, Knights fans. Now, what's quickly becoming a fan favourite, our live cross to the stadium. We were joined by new keeper and star signing, Thomas Manos. Thomas, welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks for having me, huh?
Mate, you've been, well, look, you had an absolute ripping start to your career with the Knights. That first game was absolutely wonderful. You haven't made a mistake in my eyes yet this year, mate. What's it feel like to be at the club?
Oh, it's good. It's very good. really enjoying it at the moment. And yeah, we've got a good group of boys, good coaching staff. So I really couldn't ask for much more. And I mean, we started the season on a high, so hopefully we continue that.
Now, look, mate, obviously, look, as most people would know, you played for a fair few years at Sydney, Croatia, so you followed the Croatian community down to Melbourne. How are you finding the transition down to the most livable city in the world?
I'm enjoying it. It's a very easy place to live. Very easy place to live. Very easy place to meet new people and get along with everyone. So yeah, the boys and the group in particular have made my life very easy. So yeah, the transition to Melbourne wasn't too bad at all.
Oh, that's good, mate. And look, we're going to have to ask you, how do you feel about the result on Friday night, mate?
Oh, look, we're all thrilled. We knew it was a tough game coming in, but I think it's a fair assessment to say that we dominated from start to finish. We had the majority of chances in the first half, and I think that sending off kind of started making things tick for us, and the belief grew as the minutes went by. So once we got the first goal, we knew it was full steam ahead.
Seemed like that broke the camel's back, so to speak. Him putting up some resistance, but definitely on top. I wasn't expecting it to be such a one-sided scoreline in the end, but that's some of the best football the Knights have put together in a few years. I would wager.
Yeah, no, it was good to watch out there. Like I was saying to the boys after the game, I don't think I made a save, so they made my life easy, and I was fortunate enough to watch them do their thing in front of me. So coming away 3-0 winners is convincing, but I mean, you don't win anything in round 4, so we've still got a long way to go, and we'll keep building.
Well, let's talk about a game where you were extremely busy, and that was week 1 away to Port Melbourne. Your competitive debut. What's going through your mind when you give away a penalty and are forced to stand up and make up for your mistake in your first game?
Yeah, look, it was an interesting 30 seconds or so. I was quite frustrated when I gave away the pen, but I believed in myself. I think the boys had believed in me too. And it was just one of those games where I think we all felt on the pitch that we weren't getting beat, no matter what was thrown at us that day. It was a lot of belief, and after we went down to 10 men, I felt like we all stuck together. We all did our bit, and there was defenders throwing their bodies in front of things that no one with a sane mind would do. So they helped me out as much as I did. I just played my part at the end of the day, and I was fortunate enough to attain my error.
Well, I was standing behind the goals for that second half, Tom, and you were in the zone. You were barking instructions left, right and centre. You looked like you'd been a 10-year veteran at the club and not nervously playing your first game. So what was that atmosphere like? Did you notice the roar of the crowd? Were you just totally dialed into what was going on the pitch?
No, we obviously heard the crowd backing us, which was a major help on the day, being down to 10 men. It's a bit of a struggle. But yeah, after that pen save, I kind of laid there for a second or two and kind of took the moment in. It was big roar, and it gave you goosebumps and all that. But I think we were also focused on our job on the pitch, and with the fans behind us, we knew we were going to be a difficult team to beat that day.
Well, look, mate, we had a bit of a chat the other night at the club, me and Thomas, and like I was saying to you then, mate, it's ideally you want your keeper to have to do not much, because that means your defence is playing well, the midfield's knocking the ball around. But how's it been the last home game, the last 2 home games? You haven't really had much to do, mate.
Yeah, it's been nice. It's been very nice. But I guess the difficult side of goalkeeping is the mental side, making sure you're switched on for 90 minutes, because as comfortable as that game was, if they had a small chance or half a chance and they ended up converting, it becomes a very difficult game for us. So it's been great. I've been loving not having to make as many saves, and my back 4, back 6, if you include the 2 midfielders, in fairness, all 10 in front of me are working their butts off to make sure that I don't have to touch the ball. But the frustrating side of goalkeeping is if you switch off for half a second, you can give a goal away, and then it makes it very difficult for your team. So I'm trying to stay focused even when I'm not doing much. But like I said, the 10 in front of me are doing a wicked job at making my life easy at the moment.
Well, whenever I talk to goalkeepers, they say the most difficult saves are the ones that you have to make when you haven't been involved in the game for that long. So it's 90th minute, you've barely touched the ball with your hands, and then you have to step up and make the save when you haven't got your eye in.
Yeah, it's true. It's the worst thing for a keeper. Not doing anything for 90 odd minutes and then in injury time having to try and switch on and make a save. But I try stay involved as much as possible by barking orders. I'm sure I'm heard loud and clear by everyone in the stadium. So that's my kind of way of keeping in touch with the players and keeping in touch with the game when there isn't as much to do. And I know a couple of players probably get frustrated listening to me for 90 minutes, but one of the perks of having me in behind the 10 in front of me. So yeah.
Extra assistant coach out there. Tell me a bit about your time in NPL New South Wales. How does the standard compare to what you've seen in Victoria so far?
It's been a good challenge for me here. I mean, having to transition to a new league where I don't know many players and many teams and how they play and all that. So I'm enjoying the challenge of learning about each team every week and trying to figure out how we're going to stop them. But the league is more physical here, and it's something probably not used to. Elbows getting left in when I'm challenging for a cross, all that type of stuff. So us pretty boys in Sydney are usually stepping away when keeper comes out to call for a ball. So look, I'm enjoying it. It is a lot more physical. I think the standard of football is up there. I've seen the way a couple of teams play. Even the way that we're playing currently, I think we'd go toe-to-toe with any of the top 6 teams in New South Wales. So, yeah, hopefully that keeps on rolling. But, yeah, I've got full faith in the lads and how we're playing and all that. So, yeah, it's been good transition.
Well, you've got good reason to be having faith in those boys that have propelled you to top of the table after 4 games. It's nice fans starting to get a little bit excited.
A little bit.
Tell us a little bit about the preseason preparations under Steve Beveridge. How involved are you in terms of playing out from the back and keeping possession?
Look, he gives me clear instructions all the time of what he wants. Again, I came in after the new year, so I was a bit behind the 8 ball with the whole preseason transition and doing what he wants. So yeah, he gave me clear instructions from my first game, and that kind of set the tone with where where he wanted to go, and me then understanding it, taking it on board. It's not easy moving from one team in a different league to another, and trying to transition and change a game. But he made my life very easy, and so did Tony, the keeper coach. They gave me clear ways of how they want the team to play, how they want to move forward over the next season and onwards. So yeah, we've got a certain brand of football that we want to play, and I'm just trying to fit my role and fit into the way they want to do it.
Well, mate, it looks like you've absolutely hit the ground running, because you've come in, like you said, you came in a bit behind the 8 ball than most of the other team, and from the outside looking in, it really looks like you've stepped up into a leadership role within the team. You're always back there barking instructions out. Just talk us through what that's sort of been like coming in and looking. Well, to me, it looks like you've stepped into a leadership role in the team.
Yeah, it's been a nice challenge. At Sydney United, I was seen as one of the young players. I'd signed there at the age of 19. So you kind of go through the club over 5 years and you're still seen as the youngster. But coming into a fresh environment, I wanted to challenge myself in that sort of leadership role and, be that voice on the field that, everyone had when things aren't going right and all that. But yeah, the boys, like I said, it's the main thing has been the way the team's reacted to me, and they've helped me fit in real easy. So yeah, it's just made my job trying to, accommodate them and communicate with them a hell of a lot easier, because like I said, it's very easy when you come into a good group like we have at the moment.
Who has impressed you the most out of your teammates so far this season? You got up and close and personal and going, oh, he's putting in some work.
Jesus, that's a tough one. Can I state the whole squad?
No, you can't. Not letting you off the hook that easy. Just give us a name.
Mo's been very good up top for us. I think he was in a similar position to me. First time, it's the first year of the season. And I think he's really turned some heads with the way he's played in the first couple of games. So, he's scoring, he's providing assists, and he's a very difficult player to stop, even in training games and all that. So, yeah, I think he's been one that's really impressed me, where I've kind of sat back and gone, wow, this kid's a special talent. So hopefully that keeps rolling on.
Yeah, well, look, mate, it looks like the front three's been clicking on all cylinders. Well, it definitely was on Friday. What's that been like to watch from the back when you're just watching them knock the ball around, whip the ball in, goals coming from everywhere?
It's a beautiful sight. It really is. It's one thing you love as a keeper when your front three, front four are all ticking and getting goals. And I think everyone in our front four has scored. Everyone who starts in our front four has now scored. So yeah, we're looking like a dangerous group going forward. But yeah, it's great to watch. They're moving the ball around with so much confidence. Our midfielders give them the confidence to go. Our fullbacks are joining in, and then our back four are keeping it anchored. But you can't really complain at the moment.
Oh, look, mate, 3 from 4. I think everyone would have taken that at the start of the season. I'm sure you guys as a squad would have as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a great start to the season. And I think it was a big learning point for a lot of us, that Dinamo game. So, yeah, we saw how much it hurt all the players who have been at the club for a while, and we were all hurting ourselves, us new players. So I think that loss was something that possibly needed to happen to bring us closer together. And, hopefully that something like that doesn't happen again and we keep rolling on.
Well, going into Saturday's game against Avondale, a side that's stacked with talent, as we know, Knights out for revenge after last season. How are you approaching this game?
I think it'd be the same to every other week. I think there's always so much emphasis put on, when you speak to other teams, there's so much emphasis put on the team you're playing. I think we've just we'll keep focusing on ourselves. We know that when we got the ball down and we're rolling, we're a very hard team to beat. And I'm sure that although it's very early in the season, teams are looking over their shoulder. Some probably with disbelief, but we're providing the goods at the moment. So, yeah, we'll keep focusing on ourselves. Obviously, we'll have a quick look through what Avondale's strengths are and come up with ways to combat that. But, yeah, I think we're just going to keep going the way we have. And it's, again, all focus is on us.
I cannot wait for this game because
mate, I'm bouncing for this week.
Yeah, it's a big rivalry between these two clubs, and it's two teams who like to play a bit of football as well. So there's going to be, I think, a good mixture of high quality football in the park and good old fashioned biff.
Oh look,
yeah. Well, that's what it seems like. So I'll be looking forward to it regardless. I'm sure we'll all be up for the challenge. Like Bev said, it's a new challenge. Every week's a new challenge for us. We're a new group, new coaching staff. So, yeah, we're looking forward to kind of every week the challenge that we can face as a team and overcome things that other teams might think we're not able to. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Mate, everyone's absolutely bouncing for the weekend. We're hoping you guys can get up. I think we're going to. So, let's hope for a result this weekend and keep this top of the table thing rolling.
Yeah, let's hope so. I'm sure we'll put in a great shift.
That's it, mate.
Thomas Manas.
Thanks for your time, mate. Absolute pleasure having you on, and I'm sure all the Knights fans will be seeing you down at Avenger Park over the weekend.
Sounds good. Can't wait to see you all.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Thomas Manos, new signing, and what a signing he's turned out to be, Josh.
Oh, outrageous. The speed at which he's adapted to a new league, the character of the bloke. He is a real leader, and he wasn't just saying that about barking out instructions and staying involved in the game.
I'm sure he's yelling more than half the supporters over the weekends, mate.
Yeah, he absolutely didn't stop. I was transfixed by him in the Port Melbourne game. He was really, when the pressure ratcheted up a notch and it was really backs to the wall stuff, you have to dig in and get something. It wasn't just a penalty save. It was that entire second half that he was unbelievable. He's got pretty much everything to his game. The fundamentals. Usually goalkeepers at this level have one obvious weakness.
Yeah.
Whether it's their distribution with their feet, whether it's catching crosses, whether it's saving low down, whatever it is, they've usually got one area that you can target. But Tom has all bases covered, really.
Yeah.
The only thing that's probably holding him back from professional divisions is his height, and he overcomes that with a massive stretch and leap. So that's he's an amazing asset to have in the team.
Mate, he's been absolutely massive for us to plug in a keeper like that at the start of the year, and for a new player to come in like that and to visibly see within his first couple of months at the club he's stepped up and he's definitely in that leadership group within that change room. It speaks volumes to the character of the man and what he's like as a keeper. You don't at this level, you don't just get given respect because of where you've come from or who you've played for. You've got to earn that in every change room you come into. And the fact he's been able to pick that up within his really what looks like his first couple of months at the club is massive. Absolutely massive.
It's huge. We've got heaps of comments coming through. I think it's Pashko who thinks I've taken inspiration from your haircut. Zovak. Yeah, I did actually bring a picture of Zovak into the barber on Friday afternoon and said, make me look like the snack attack over here. And Tommy Gavran with a great shout. Check out Eddie Collage's absolute belter in the 21s yesterday, 11th minute goal of the season contender. And he's been good enough to provide a link.
How good is that? So go check the comments out. Check out the Young Guns belter of a goal. And that was on debut as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll try and do my best to clip it up during a break, and we'll see if we can play it on the stream because it is unbelievable. I just had a quick sneak peek while we were doing the interview with Tom, and I tried not to let my facial expression give away just how impressed I was and how I wasn't paying attention. So fantastic shout from Tommy.
Might have 2 goals of the season this year. The young fella and Webby a couple of weeks back.
Well, I mean, it was a weekend of belters in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, Mo had a cracker in the Hume game. There was obviously the Stefan Valentini goal against Hajduk, which was just ridiculous. And the angle of the camera, like straight behind it, I think helped as well with the spectacular nature. There was Joe Knowles in the Oakley Magic game. It was a first-time half volley with his non-preferred foot from outside the area, which is all you really need to say. It's top corner.
And there was the standout tree branch from the Eastern Lions game.
Well, I was fortunate enough to have a slightly better view of the action than some of the punters. Because I was slightly lower down than the camera, so I was able to see underneath the surrounding foliage. It's a very picturesque part of the world, Gardner's Creek Reserve. You really get the natural beauty.
Definitely is.
Unfortunately,
it's
it's
up the road from the Dandenongs. You know.
Unfortunately, it's slightly in the way of Ali Suleimani's ridiculous curling chip, I guess you'd call it, in off the crossbar. But if you really want to see a good replay of that goal, you can go look at the Eastern Lions page. They've got a page on Vimeo, I think, which is a bit of a deep cut. But anyway, the video guy, Eastern Lions, has 6 cameras positioned around the ground, and he does like multiple slow-mo replays from different stationary cameras, which is pretty cool. I mean, you think they could put some of that budget into pruning the trees, but anyway.
Yeah, well, look, surely there's someone in there who's got some sort of a saber saw or something in his car. Look, come on, boys.
So there's one landscape gardener amongst the first team.
Oh, not even, maybe even someone's uncle. Surely someone's got a saw in the car to take care of that.
NPL. It's just NPL things.
The joys of. All right, let's go around the grounds, Josh. So Friday night, a couple of big results on Friday night. St Albans Dynamo holding Bentley to a 0-0 draw. Great result for them.
And they should have won at Bentley in the last minute with Braden Crowley, but I think it was Braden Crowley, it was somebody. Anyway, they fired just wide in the last minute. They had all of the ball, but Dynamo just have a little bit of that resilience about them, and they're grinding out results this season.
Yeah, they're going to be a tough team to break down, especially in this early part of the year. So good on them for the result. Dandy City shellacked 4-1 by Avondale. Avondale looks like they're firing just in time for our game on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, they've got still a few players to come back from injury, but they've got a deep squad, and they killed Dandy City this time last year as well. It was pretty similar, to be honest. I did hear that Rory Bryan, the backup goalkeeper they had in goal, so it'll be interesting to see whether they have Bond Scott back for the Knights game. But Rory Bryan had to make a few good saves, so maybe it wasn't quite as one-sided as the scoreline made it look, but Avondale clearly the better team, and Dandy City struggling a bit this year.
Yeah.
Don't really seem to be able to hold onto the ball, and they don't seem to be able to create that many chances going forward, and they're sitting back in games. They've got a good back line, but they just put themselves under so much pressure, and then they end up copping goals.
Yeah, well, look, it's going to be hard to soak up pressure for any 90 minutes of football, regardless of how good your back four is, really.
I mean, St Albans is the only team that's successful at it at the moment.
At the moment, yeah. Well, look, we'll see how long that lasts for them as well. You know, it's unfortunate. Well, no, that's just the nature of the game. You don't have too many teams that are across the season grinding out 1-0 or 0 results all year.
Yeah, exactly. It's not always sustainable.
No, you're not going to have a Greece in the 2004 Euros just popping up from set pieces every single game and holding out a 1-0 win.
Exactly. And that's why I like the way the Knights are playing this year.
Mate, open, attacking, but we'll get to that shortly. Knights fans, South Melbourne and Port Melbourne, 0-0 draw, and Heidelberg with, you'd say, an upset over Gully on Friday night.
Yeah, big upset.
Massive upset.
Gully should have been in control in the driving seat, but the Burgers, they haven't lost, despite the changes in their squad, haven't lost that kind of George Katsakis grit and grind mentality, right? They had never dead and buried in games. I think they came back last week, was it with 10 men to draw 2-2 against the Magic, and this was kind of similar. They've moved one of the new boys, McAuliffe, who was playing it right back at the start of the year. They've moved him further up the pitch, and he can't stop scoring at the moment. So they're doing a lot with a squad that isn't nearly as talented, I would say, as in previous Heidelberg years. Yeah, very much less experience as well.
That was sort of their calling card over the last few years, having that sort of solid 2 or 3 players in each line through the pitch that really held the core of that team together. That's gone, and they're still grinding out results. So they're going to be a tough out this year. Now going into Saturday's game, a 1-0 win for Oakley over Altona Magic.
And it has resulted in the first coaching casualty of the season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard today that Eagles pulled the trigger. So John Markovsky-Jonesy, former Melbourne Knights player, of course.
Former Melbourne Knights player.
Is gone after 4 games, which I think maybe a little bit impatient.
Maybe a little bit premature, you reckon?
Yeah, I would have thought so. But the other big rumour I'm hearing is that they are talking to a former A-League coach to fill the vacancy.
Kevin Muscat coming down to the NPL.
No. A little further back than Muskie, but not that much further. Yeah, just have a think about it.
Have a think about it, guys. And Sunday's game, Dandy Thunder getting a 2-1 win over Eastern Lions, regardless of the foliage overhanging the pitch.
I was commentating this game with Lockie Flanagan, my FNR colleague, and it was a good day out at Garners Creek. A very wet day, but they did a decent job of weatherproofing the scaffold for us with tarps and so forth. It was a little concerning when the water started pooling and we had to punch it off at halftime. But, it was a good day. Dandy Thunder were an absolute disgrace in the first half. And I don't say that lightly. They were 6s and 7s, screaming at each other. It looked like a team about to rip apart at the seams. And Eastern Lions, they scored an early goal off a nice cross. We know they're dealing with about a third or a quarter of the budget of most teams in the division. So, any result that they can get is massive for them. And they're
trying to stay up in the league,
And any way they can get it is massive. But they will be ruining giving this away because Thunder look dead and buried. I've never seen a man with steam coming out of his ears quite like Sam Elmazi was at halftime. And even throughout the second half, even when they were winning, to be honest, he was not happy with a lot of things that were going on. Not happy that his medical staff weren't wasting time appropriately. Not happy with his goalkeeper not claiming crosses. He was an angry man, but he seemed to light a fire underneath those Thunder players, and they came out with a lot of aggression and intensity on that small pitch. They really put in some big challenges and got themselves up and about. They made a double sub at halftime and swapped the formation and brought off both wing backs, and suddenly they had some good wide attacking options. And it really came down to a turning point where it was 1-1 after a penalty for handball that was a bit iffy. And Georgopoulos from Eastern Lions, obviously the former Thunder player, ran through and should have scored and blazed it over the bar. And then the goal kick straight down the other end, Ali Suleimani scores that ridiculous curled chip shot from outside the area. It's hard to even describe it. It was amazing.
I did see that in the highlights. That was an absolutely magic goal.
And that was the fork in the road because it could have gone 2-1 to Eastern Lions. Instead it went 2-1 to Dandy Thunder, and they get a precious 3 points that gets them out of the relegation zone.
Yeah, and really cements Eastern Lions down that sort of bottom half-ish end of the table.
Yeah, I mean, they both, I think, will be relegation battlers this season unless Thunder can find a plane to get Brandon Barnes on for the second half of the season, which they will continue to try to do, I would imagine.
Oh, I'm sure they would. They'd be very happy to have him back, and the rest of the league's hoping that COVID stays absolutely rampant in the UK.
And he's just chiming off with smart-ass comments in the live streams instead of banging in goals.
Yeah, well, look, I'm a bit sick of him rubbing his gut every time he scores against us.
It's good luck, I think.
Oh, look, for him maybe, not for the rest of the league. And obviously Melbourne Knights getting a 3-0 win on Friday night. And now a quick rundown of the table. Melbourne Knights top of the league on 9 points. Let's just take a quick second to really just digest the fact that 4 rounds in we're top of the league. Let's take that in.
It's pretty nice, isn't it?
Look, mate, it's wonderful is what it is. Ratata, it's wonderful. We're top of the league. We're flying, mate. We're flying. Huge. Second, Green Gully on 7 points with Avondale, Bentley and St Albans also on 7 points. South Melbourne coming in 6th spot. Heidelberg, Oakley and Hume tied on 5 points. And then rounding out then Dandy Thunder, Port Melbourne, Eastern Lions all on 4 points, and rounding out the bottom 2, Altona Magic on 3 and Dandy City on a solitary point, bottom of the table.
Yeah, I think there are some movements I would expect in the second half of the campaign. I would expect Oakley to pick up a little bit in terms of results. They've drawn a couple of games that they probably should have won.
Yeah.
Altona, I think, despite the coaching change and or whatever's going on behind the scenes there, should have got better results than they have based on performances, and have let a couple of...
That's probably why the coach got the arse at the end of the day.
I mean, I think a bit unlucky, a little bit sloppy, conceding equalisers when they shouldn't have, and so forth, and not finishing their chances, and that's football sometimes. But I would expect to see them out of the relegation zone in a few weeks' time, unless it really goes south, behind the scenes in the dressing room and so forth. Hume, I think, are a good side, and Knights outplayed them on Friday night very convincingly, and there was a red card to Ben Bowler.
Yeah.
So that swung things in a more emphatic direction than maybe it would have gone if it was 11 v 11. But I would expect to see them pushing higher up the table, and I think that the rest of it is pretty fair. Maybe St Albans will call off a bit, not sure, but.
Look, and that's the thing, especially with this early part of the year, the league's sort of still figuring out where exactly everyone's sitting, early parts of the season. A few teams have had a few injuries and that, but look, at the moment, you can only play who's in front of you at the end of the day, so it is what it is. I'll take it. We're top of the league, mate.
Two best teams playing on Saturday, I would argue. I mean, I know
I'd say so.
Avondale are third on goal difference, or equal third.
Yeah.
But I think they are a better side than Green Gully, despite that 10-man loss. It was just a bizarre game in torrential rain, that one. I do think they are quite a dangerous side when they're on their game. They're very hard to stop.
Yeah, definitely.
And Knights are clearly the best team in the league so far in terms of consistency of performances. The Dinamo game aside, it's been very solid in both attack and defence, and they've faced different situations in games and come out with 3 points, and I'm super impressed.
Well, mate, speaking of that game, let's actually do a bit of a deep dive on that, because that was an absolute pleasure of a 90 minutes to watch. To me, that's 90 of the most complete minutes of football I've seen us play in probably a good couple of years. From front to back, we look solid, even through the first half. And look, I think the red card sort of hot after you score 3 after a red card, everyone sort of looks at it and goes, all right, the red card opened the game up. But the red card withstanding, I think we were the better team on the pitch for 90 minutes of that game. Probably a bit unlucky not to have 1 or 2 goals coming in the first half. 15th minute, that ball by Webb over the top into the middle of the box. Half, that's really, that should be getting buried. You go into the half, then 1-0 up, and you're looking at a different game and probably a different scoreline in the end. But, mate, I was absolutely thrilled with the game on Friday night.
Yeah, and very consistent lineup as well over the past few weeks, which is good to see. Not too much chopping and changing going on. Bebic obviously happy with most of his first team options, and good understanding being developed between Zvetslut and Bryce at the back.
Yeah, they look absolutely rock solid next to each other at the back.
I think complement each other well in terms of styles of play.
Definitely.
I think Trevor's very good on the ball, obviously can play in midfield as well, so he's kind of almost a converted midfielder there that gives you so much passing range. And then Brycey, as we know, is just all-round great centre-back, and will put in a last-ditch challenge if he needs to, but will marshal back 4. And then the midfield combination with McGarry and Giselle has been great to watch.
Great to watch, yeah.
I don't think previous Knights coaches would have been brave enough to put 2 so attacking-minded players
next
in a double pivot.
Yeah.
And Bebic has said, no, I want the best players on the park, so I'm going to play both of them. Yeah. Usually, most coaches, conservatism would creep in, and you have to have a destroyer next to them.
Yeah, you have to have one to sort of break up the play, knock the ball about and that, but
it's working at the moment.
Mate, it's working. And honestly, you look through that, especially before the red card, the way we were knocking the ball around the park, we're pushing wide, we're pushing into dangerous areas, probably a bit unlucky not to score. But the midfield looked, I think, pretty solid. You know, across the pitch, we've looked solid. You know, 3 different scorers again on the weekend. You're not, as much as losing a player like Hamish last year is a big hit up front, but I think the difference that's added is you're not reliant at sort of one target man for all your goals to come from that one area. You know, you had on the weekend, Caleb scored, Webby scored, and Mo scored. You know, so that's your front 3 all chipping in with a goal. That's massive.
Yeah, huge. We've got James coming through on the Facebook Live saying Alan Webb is such a classy player. Even when he doesn't score, he's just so dangerous. And Pashko's replied saying, sounds like Zovac at the Kialba pub. So very good from Pashko.
Pashko on fire as always.
But a very perceptive comment from James as well, because Webby can rotate with the other sort of members of the front 4. He can run the channels, very mobile player. And he's good off the ball, really, really good off the ball in terms of the movement and the way he drags defenders out of position for other players, or whether he makes the run himself. It's a great pickup. And that front 4 is as good as any going about in this division, I would say.
Well, at the moment, I don't think you're going to find anyone who can argue with you. Like, really, when you look across, you know, Mo's popped up in a couple of games now and scored. Caleb scored 2 in the last 2 weeks. You know, Webb scored a brace at home, our last home game. He scored again tonight, so he's got 3. You know, the front 3 is chipping up, and it's not always the same one outlet forward that's really creating or pushing. You know, Albano popped up in the first week and scored. So I think that's going to make us really, really hard to play against going through the year, because you don't, you know, if you're going all out to shut down Mo, you're going to open up space for Webb, for Caleb, for Albano, for other players across the pitch. It's going to make us really, really hard to defend going forward.
I mean, how good has it been for Albano having a bit more dispersed responsibility alongside him? Because in previous seasons, it's sort of like Albano's the main man. He's going to carry the ball. He's going to have to be the outlet up front. And I think defence has kind of keyed in on him and shut him down. And it was very frustrating that he was sort of having to do it all on his own. But when you've got so many different targets to mark, he's got way more space to operate, and that's really helped his game, having some more support up there.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. And look, when you look across the squad, the options we've still got on the bench there in terms of Breeze. Breeze has been out the last couple of weeks. He hasn't played. You bring a player like him back into the squad, he adds just that extra depth, that adds something that little bit different to the midfield that potentially changes the game. And, you know, there's that young Trevor Sekamula. He came on against St Albans, looked dangerous. He's come on a couple of games and looked dangerous. There's that many players throughout. This is one of the deepest teams I think I've seen at the Knights in recent memory.
Yeah, and once, as you say, once we get a couple of players back, you've got more options. You know, there was a bit of a defensive bench by necessity because of the players that had available. It was only Trevor that was Trevor Sekamula was the attacking option. He got the crowd really up and about in the St Albans game. He was exciting, the way he was running direct with the ball. And, you know, he's a young player. He's only going to get better with more exposure and more first-team minutes. And Breezy, you know, I've seen him play a little bit at Preston. He is really, as we know, a combative player, but also a very classy player with his distribution off both feet, and very assertive in terms of the way he tries to dictate games and get on the ball constantly. He always wants the ball, even when he's under pressure. So he's going to be a great addition to that midfield, especially, you know, you bring him on when you're looking for a goal. Whether it's in a number 10 spot or 6 or 8, he can do it all. And he's going to really lift the tempo of the game. And that's going to be a huge asset when he comes back.
Massive. He's an absolute game breaker to have in your back pocket to be able to bring on, or even start, depending on, you know, how everyone's playing and what the coach is sort of thinking. But, mate, I don't think you can fault much of what's really happened this year.
Yeah. I look, the recruitment's been top notch. The coaching's been top notch. It's the early days, of course. 4 games doesn't make a season, and you're going to have tougher tests when players get injured or things don't go your way later on in the year. But you couldn't really ask for much more than 9 points after four rounds. It's a credit to all involved.
Correct. And look, speaking of the coach, I had a bit of a chat to him on Friday night. Have we got that interview?
Yeah, I don't have it handy right now, but I'll try and get it up during a break.
No problem. We might go to a quick break there, Knights fans, and we'll be back with a couple of interviews from Friday night and a bit of a G-up for the game this weekend against Avondale.
Hold on a minute. You're saying the Realme 7 Pro can now access 5G? Realme is quickly becoming one of the most popular and affordable phone brands. With a 6.4-inch display, 64-megapixel camera and 128 gigabytes of storage, we've found your next phone. Usually $599, it's now on sale for $479. And get a further 5% off when you use the code FNRME on any Realme product. Order the Realme 7 Pro now and get a pair of wireless earbuds, the Realme Buds Q, for free. That's realme.com. Promo code FNRME.
With this great sporting nation who has yet to embrace fully the world's greatest game, and for so long of trying to have the game accepted. And when I'm up to the big football field in the sky, I just want people just to remember I told you so.
And suddenly the complexion of the game changes. Let's hope it doesn't, but this is the best period for Iran in the match. Danger for Australia here, the flag's down!
You just feel for them, not just the boys, they are representative of so many people who make this game their life. It's just, I can't say anything.
All right. Especially as they have the impetus. Aloisi. Cahill! Tim Cahill has done it again! What a goal by Tim Cahill! 2-1 Australia! Oh, it's a wonderful moment in Kaiserslautern! And Tim Cahill has come off the bench and maybe won the match for the Socceroos.
You're listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Do you spend too much of your valuable time in the kitchen?
Chef Good delivers delicious gourmet meals directly to your door. With options as varied as green sambal chicken, Nonna's lasagna and harissa lamb tagine, you'll never get bored or go hungry.
All FNR listeners can get 10% off their first Chef Good order.
Just head to chefgood.com.au and use the code FNR10.
chefgood.com.au. It tastes good.
Whether you're a land developer, in local government or a service authority, Lenco Group will help you get your job done on time and in a cost-effective manner. Lenco Group provides superior civil engineering and advisory services by creating, communicating and delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. For all your infrastructure requirements associated with residential, commercial or industrial development projects, visit our website lencogroup.com.au or give us a call today on 1300 152 626.
You're listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Hold on a minute. You're saying the Realme 7 Pro can now access 5G? Realme is quickly becoming one of the most popular and affordable phone brands. With a 6.4-inch display, 64-megapixel camera and 128 gigabytes of storage, we've found your next phone. Usually $599, it's now on sale for $479. And get a further 5% off when you use the code FNRME on any Realme product. Order the Realme 7 Pro now and get a pair of wireless earbuds, the Realme Buds Q, for free. That's realme.com. Promo code FNRME.
And welcome back to the show. So, Josh, any other look? I think one of the biggest things I want to add in from the weekend is the vibe that's sort of come back in and around the club after our start to the season. Knights was bouncing till about 12, 1 o'clock on Friday night, mate. Mate, the buzz around the joint, especially after a win like that. Look, I can't remember the last time we won 3-0, mate. It's been a while.
I think that would have been, and look, I wasn't there on Friday, but that would have been the most up the place has been since the Doherty Cup win against South, probably.
Yeah, look.
Maybe even bigger than that?
Oh, look, I don't know. That was a pretty big one. I'm not going to lie. The win against Avondale was even better. But, mate, the buzz back around the place it really is something to behold.
Look, after the South win, I had ECP buying me shots of rock here in the club rooms. And, he's a big, intimidating guy. I felt rude not to accept, so I barely remember that evening. But
Shout out to ECP, the infamous Twitter boy.
But that was a sensational night. But, look, I don't imagine this community could be more excited about the team, given what Melbourne has come out of, given how long we've had between drinks, so to speak.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, definitely.
Given how long it's been without football, to have a night side playing this confidently and this well and in this entertaining a fashion, getting results as well, there's really no reason not to come down to a game. There really is no excuse at this point. Like, if you're thinking about getting back on the bandwagon, now is absolutely the time.
Oh, look, and we're definitely happy to have you back. And just to give a quick plug, membership shirts look great, so come down, buy one. You get one of these chucked in.
I've been seeing them around a lot.
Mate, we've got
Very
a few
popular.
members this year, Josh. We've got a few members. And the shirts look great. Shout out to the merch slinger, Jerome. He does a fantastic job, him and Dan, of organising all our merchandise. And look, I do harp on about this a bit, but I only do it because it's true. We've got the best merch in the league, mate. Like, buy them all.
Yeah, I mean, there's sort of a football hipster market that you guys have cornered, as well as the traditional fan base. I think you can probably suck a few, Brunswick types through the door, latte drinkers. I mean,
jam jar latte drinkers.
I mean, the Venn diagram of those two is basically Dan, Pav, to be honest, these clear frames and so forth. This freaked me out the other day. We're going way off run sheet, but I was at Hume City last week, and Hume City usually gives a free feed after the game for the commentators. Very nice of them. Sitting with the coaches, I see the players walk in, and in his streetwear, in his casual gear with the glasses on, James Brown looks exactly like Dan. They are doppelgangers. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Couldn't be from more different backgrounds.
Oh, look, I think we might have to get a picture of that up on the socials.
Yeah, I think we'll need one. I think we'll pinch one of James Brown's Facebook or something. I've never seen them in the same room at the same time, so saying.
Should have come to the club on Friday, mate. You might have seen them next to each other in the beer garden.
Would have been able to dispel the concersy theory that I'm
They're
building.
not the same person. Oh, look, speaking of this weekend, we've got a massive game against Avondale this Saturday. Look, and this was the biggest thing that we talked about on the show last week. If we perform how we did in the first couple of rounds, we're going to do pretty well this year. And the boys done very, very well to bounce back this week after last week's disappointing loss. If the squad comes out fit and firing like they did on Friday night, there is absolutely no reason we shouldn't slap Avondale as well.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a fantastic game. I'm really excited to be likely commentating it, so I will see people down there. Shout out. I'm not going to ditch after 30 minutes, even if it is raining, so like some of my commentary colleagues might have been tempted to do a couple of weeks ago. But I'm really looking forward to it. Adventure Park's a better place to go watch a game these days. Obviously, it wasn't ready last time, and this game got moved to George Cross. So they've actually got decent food and a new scoreboard in and so forth. If it's a nice day, they've got actually a beer garden set up, which I'm not sure like the appeal of that, how long it's going to last into the NPL winter, but the bit of AstroTurf looks like something you might see at a Melbourne Festival.
Yeah, interesting choice for a winter sport that I would have thought.
But on a sunny day, I saw round 1 or round 2, I can't remember. Kimon Taliadoris down there enjoying a cocktail, so he's getting into the swing of things.
It's a massive game for us this weekend. A win this week really cements our spot in that top half of the table, and really puts a stamp on and puts out a sort of message to the rest of the league. This is what our intent is for the year. Like we've come out strong first few rounds. This weekend's a massive opportunity to really stamp our authority on the league.
And where the Knights can win it, and I know the players all say, and I'm sure this is true, they focus on themselves. I always ask about the upcoming team, and the answer is from every player is always the same. It's just, I guess because we talked to them on a Monday before they've done opposition prep, but the answer is always we're focusing on the way we're playing and so forth. But a little bit of opposition analysis. Where you can beat Avondale at the moment is probably in the midfield because they got quite a few injuries there. I don't believe Ute Towns is going to be back in time unless they rush him back. He's had a broken foot for
that's right.
quite a while. He did it in Tassie in the back end of 2020. So he's a big loss for them. They've had a couple of other injuries, and Phil Ricobene has been out as well. He's usually a quite organising, holding midfield presence.
Definitely.
So you can get at them in midfield at the moment. They've always got options in the forward line, but they also play an extremely high defensive line and can be got in behind. So I think Gian Albano and Alan Webb are going to have a really big role to play as well, making sure runs off the shoulder and trying to stretch Avondale, because it is a pretty big pitch at Avenger Park. It's a nice deck, so you should be able to play those kinds of passes.
Definitely conducive to good football, but I think the bigger thing for us on the weekend is going to be how the sort of back four marshals together in terms of in with the midfield. That back unit has to be absolutely rock solid, because you give Avondale an inch, and they've shown over the last few years in the league they're one of the better teams knocking around in the league. They've got plenty of firepower up front. They will you give them a half chance, odds on they're going to score. So it's going to be absolutely vital that we hold that back four solid.
Yeah, hugely important, and you don't want to start giving Liam Boland confidence.
No, definitely not.
He hasn't had a great season so far. He scored a penalty, has been a bit hit and miss, I got to say. Not making always the right decision in front of goals. So I think he's a little bit in his own head at the moment, and that's probably when you want to face a striker like that, not when he's on top of the world.
Not when he's doing Brandon Barnes level stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But if you give him an inch, he'll take you a mile. So you got to be right on top of him, marking him tightly and not letting him find his rhythm, and just staying on your feet when you're coming up against those wingers. Yusuf Ahmed or Valentini, if you dive in, they'll blow by you. So the strength in the fullback spots has been another highlight. I thought Nick Glovan was unbelievable against Hume.
He's had an incredibly solid season.
Most improved, potentially?
Oh, look,
there's a lot of candidates for that role.
Oh, look, there's a lot of players in the squad that have stepped up, but he's one for me that when he sort of in his first stint before he left for Bentley, he was playing up at a level, and I think he's been sort of up and down over the last couple of years, but this year he's been, I think, one of our most consistent performers through 4 rounds. He's been rock solid down the flanks. He's been phenomenal for me this year.
Huge. I think he copped a bit of criticism in 2019, saying he was underperforming. I think that was more a result of team underperformance than him individually, but he's looking great this year.
He did have a couple of unfortunate moments, like that back pass against Adelaide United. That's sort of something that sticks out in everyone's mind. Your team's not having the best of years.
And you remember one individual error and it kind of sticks.
And especially that was probably the biggest game we've played in all year. Unlucky for the bloke to have a mistake in that game of all games, but that's the one that's going to stick in people's heads, especially from an average season like that.
And then Jack Marth coming in, he'll be looking to hold on to his spot as a youngster. He's so tenacious, and
he's been massive for us this year, young Jack. He's been given an opportunity up at the level. That first week he was maybe for a few people would have been a bit of a surprise selection, but he's shown through 4 games he's well deserving of his spot in the senior team.
Yeah, and there's competition for places in the back line. So, he's got more experienced players breathing down his neck, but Bebic has seen fit to, ever since he came on as a sub in the Port game, to stick with him, and with good reason, I think. So the strength in those areas where, it might have been a bit of a weak point, or those players might have been left a little bit isolated in previous seasons, is a big factor why I think Knights are favourites for Saturday.
Oh, look, I wouldn't. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be easy by any stretch. It's going to be close, but we do tipping at F&I. I don't know if people have noticed. We put out a graphic, so there's nowhere to hide for the F&I boys, and a few of the other sort of NPL commentators and things that have joined in as well. I was the only person who tipped Knights for Friday. I couldn't believe it.
The rest of you are a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, well, apparently. Hey, my tips have been pretty shocking so far this year, so I'm not going to claim superiority, but I was stunned by that. People just reacting to 1 week, and I'm going to tip Knights again.
Look, if I was a betting man, I'd be picking Knights this weekend. I think we're going to really step up and stamp our authority on the game on the weekend. I think there's enough for the boys that played in the last game we played last year against Avondale, which was less than impressive.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Well, no getting away with it.
No getting around it. So for everyone who was around last year, this is an opportunity for them to really come back. And if you're in the team, to stamp your authority as to why you should still be in the team. The squad's deep enough this year that if you have a week or two where you're not performing, you're not just going to be staying in there because of what your name is or a couple of good performances early. The squad is deep enough and strong enough from back to front that everyone has to be absolutely good enough to hold on to the spot.
FFA Cup draw.
Massive FFA Cup draw out today.
Yeah.
We picked Whiskey United, was it?
Old Scotch.
Old Scotch, sorry.
Very expensive.
Very expensive.
18-year-olds, 24, I don't know.
25 maybe, I'm hoping.
Yeah, it leaves a good taste in the mouth, that selection.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Oh, look, and this, I think, for the club, again, we've shown over the last couple of years that the FFA Cup and the magic of the cup, really, these cup runs are really something that Knights have always been a pretty strong team in cups over the club's history. So we're hoping for another run this year.
Well, it's a chance to stick it to the establishment, isn't it?
Always is, yes.
I mean, look, usually in the FFA Cup, you kind of, as a neutral, look at the underdog and think, it'd be great if they got up. Not in this case, smash them, please. Hate that school.
You're not a fan, Josh?
No, not a fan at all.
Not a fan?
No.
So you want a first 11 starting against them?
Yeah, I prefer double figures. I don't know. I'm from the eastern suburbs, but maybe people in Sunshine don't give a crap. But I'm not a fan.
From everyone I've spoken to today, I don't think anyone.
Bunch of elitist. No, I won't finish that thought.
All opposite reaction. Most people I spoke to today had to Google them to figure out who the hell they were, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it's more of an AFL school, let's say.
Right.
So it's. I wouldn't say football's their forte. So should be okay.
Should be all right. Well, look, the cup is a massive competition for us. So let's hope for a big result in that. But a bit of a cup run and a good result against Avondale this weekend.
They're going to have to rename it. Any thoughts?
On the FFA Cup renaming?
Yeah, Australia Cup, link the old and new. I don't know if you're a fan of that.
Oh, no, you put me on the spot here.
Yeah, I have. This is totally unprompted.
What about the National Soccer Cup?
The Phillips.
Phillips, Ampol, I don't know. There's a few options. Doherty, even bring that back. That was good.
Yeah, I think the rest of Australia might object, but us calling it the Doherty Cup. But anyway.
Yeah, well, look, we've had pretty good record in that, so I really wouldn't want the name change back, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I suggested in honour of Les Murray the Laszlo Cup.
Oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Shout out to old Leslie. Yeah, he was, you know what?
I think it has a ring to it, Laszlo Cup.
Yeah.
You know? But that's not going to happen. It's going to be Australia Cup, I think.
It's probably going to end up being, or just that iconic audio, just Johnny Warren.
You know what I would like? Yeah, that's great. I would like them to change the logo because at the moment, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a picture of the trophy on the trophy because the logo is the trophy.
Oh my God.
I don't know if there's a picture of the trophy on the picture of the trophy. Otherwise, it's just Inception all the way down. But I think that's something that they could address. It's just appalling graphic design. But everyone gets around it. it's a great opportunity for the Knights to propel themselves onto the national stage once again. You know, I think everyone would love to have another big night at Summer Street like the Adelaide game, except with a stronger team now, you might actually be able to give some of these A-League boys a game.
Look, mate, to be honest, I was a bit upset last year we didn't draw Darwin. I was really hoping for an away trip. But yeah, look, it's the FA Cup and what that's meant to clubs like ours across Australia. You know, it's been an opportunity to really bring back the big numbers, the big crowds. You know, national interest coming back in. It's been absolutely instrumental in helping the club move forward. You know, and this bid for a national second division. When you're hosting events like this and you're showing you're competent, it's just you putting your best foot forward to go. If this national second division does end up coming up, we are more than capable of doing what we need to do.
Well, those are the three words on everybody's lips, isn't it? That's why this year is so important on and off the park.
Correct. All right, guys, we're going to go in for a quick break, and then we've got a few more things just to wrap the show up.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website, dkpco.com.au, or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Do you spend too much of your valuable time in the kitchen?
Chef Good delivers delicious gourmet meals directly to your door. With options as varied as green sambal chicken, Nonna's lasagna, and harissa lamb tagine, you'll never get bored or go hungry.
All FNR listeners can get 10% off their first Chef Good order.
Just head to chefgood.com.au and use the code FNR10.
chefgood.com.au. It tastes good.
Hold on a minute. You're saying the Realme 7 Pro can now access 5G? Realme is quickly becoming one of the most popular and affordable phone brands. With a 6.4-inch display, 64 megapixel camera, and 128 gigabytes of storage, we've found your next phone. Usually $599, it's now on sale for $479. And get a further 5% off when you use the code FNRME on any Realme product. Order the Realme 7 Pro now and get a pair of wireless earbuds, the Realme Buds Q, for free. That's realme.com. Promo code FNRME. The Night Train is brought to you by St Andrews Hotel, 128 Nicholson Street, Fitzroy. Beautifully crafted, cosy and intimate spaces for your drinking and dining experiences.
And welcome back, listeners. Now, joining us, we have a very special guest who was in attendance interstate to watch us play on Friday night. Mother of our captain, Joanne Bryce. Joe, have we got you on the phone?
You sure have. Hello, how are you?
I'm lovely, thank you. How are you? How?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
How was it coming down to watch Aiden play on Friday?
Oh, fantastic. Look, we love making the trip down the freeway there to watch the boy play, and very proud, and it was so good to see him get that 3-0 win up as well. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Oh, look, I'm sure everyone in the stadium was just as happy with the 3-0 win as you were, but to have your son captaining the Knights, he's back and playing for us. Look, we're sorry to have taken him away from you up in Newcastle again, but we absolutely love having him down here. What was he like up in Newcastle?
Look, he was fantastic. Look, he just absolutely loves the game. He thrives for it. He was a great asset up here to Edgeworth, but he left a couple of years ago and went down to Melbourne Knights and had a couple of years down there. He come back last year, which I think benefited him a little bit with the COVID, and he got a full season in last year, which was good to see. And yeah, when he sort of said, Mum, I'm heading back down to the Knights, I was pleased to see him go back down. I knew that he loved being down there with all you guys down there. And, yeah, so, I mean, as much as it is, it's great being able to watch him on the telly every week, of course. We have our little night parties every week and we all get together and have a drink and have something to eat and watch him all play. And, yeah, it's great. Not as good as what it is being down there. But anyhow, we can't be down there every week. But, yeah, no, it's great. Good to see him down there enjoying himself.
Well, Joe, I'm really glad to hear that. It's Josh here. I actually do a bit of the commentary for those streams, and we always, if we're watching the Facebook, there's always familiar surnames coming through in the comments. Parents telling the coach to, bring their kid on because it's not working. That was funny on the weekend in the Dandenong game. But how proud are you to see your son wearing the captain's armband for the Knights?
Look, when he rang me up and he said, Mum, he said, I got captain. I have to say it. I was very emotional. I was very proud of him to get that. I know how hard he works and how he loves the game and he strives for. He's a quiet little achiever. Like he's not over the top with everything. He just he just toddles along in his own little way. But yes, no, we're all very proud to see that he got the captain's armband, and I think so far he's doing a pretty good job anyway. That might be out of a mum's eye, but yeah, no, I think he's doing a pretty good job. I don't think that's just out of the mum's eye. I don't think too many people can have. Well, look, I don't think anyone's got anything bad to say about how he's captained us to start the year. He's been absolutely phenomenal. You must be a very proud mother watching him. Absolutely, I am. Absolutely, I am very, very proud, and it doesn't go aside. I'm not short of telling anybody who he is and who he plays for and what he does and how proud I am of him. So, yeah, we're all very proud of him up here.
How familiar were you with Melbourne Knights as a club before Aiden went down? Is it a total unknown for you, or was it a famous name in your mind?
No, absolutely unknown to me. I mean, I've always come from, and Aiden himself, we all come from a football background, a rugby league background. His great-grandfather played rugby league, and so did his grandfather, and so soccer was not really known to us. We'd only been to Melbourne once prior to that, and that's when Aiden played the year before with Edgeworth, and we travelled down there to play South Melbourne in the FFA Cup. So I hadn't heard of, I've got to be honest, I hadn't heard of Melbourne Knights, and but I haven't heard of a lot of soccer teams either, but yeah, no, you guys, they're so welcoming. When we were down there on the weekend and previous years, we've come down to watch him play. We feel like we're family down there. So, yeah, no, it's lovely.
What was the atmosphere like at the ground on Friday from an outsider's perspective? Because we get very excited about the team this year and the crowds that the Knights are getting. But what is it like from someone who's total, say neutral, but an outside observer?
Yeah, no, the atmosphere was fantastic. My partner come down. That was the first time he'd been down to watch Aiden play in all the years that he's been down there, and he couldn't get over. He got to watch him last year against Edgeworth, and he couldn't get over the atmosphere down there. And before the game, how the people go to the social club, and then the game, and then how they all go back afterwards into the little club, and enjoy it all. But even at the game, he just said, yeah, it was just that step above like everyone else. Like the atmosphere is unreal. Yeah.
Oh, look, that's lovely to hear, because, look, just quietly, I think we've got the best fans in the league, and I think we've got the best club in the league, but...
You might have the best captain in the league.
I think we do have the best captain in the league. I'm not going to be shy about that either.
I think we've got the best captain in the league, yeah.
Oh, mate, it was an absolute pleasure to have you down over the weekend. Hopefully we can get you back another couple of times across the year. It seems like you come down, we win 3-0, so we're going to have to get you back a bit more often.
They said that after the game. One of the fellas over at the social club said he was going to pay my airfare to come down every week if that's what the result was going to be. I was quite open to that, but once I said that, I think he was like, oh, gee, But, yeah, no, we'll definitely be down another couple of times throughout the year. We love coming down and supporting him and supporting the guys. And think they're a great bunch of kids too. They're just to be involved, like not be down there that often, but to have that little bit of involvement with them. They're just, a great bunch of boys that play with them. Yeah, very respectful and, very nice.
Well, Joanne, thanks a bunch for your time. Thanks for coming on the show, and we hope to see you down a couple more times this year and a few more 3-0 results.
Excellent. No worries. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I've been loved talking to you.
Absolute pleasure, Joe. And if you comment on the Facebook stream on Saturday, I'm commentating, so I'll give you a shout out.
Okay. You know what? I'll give you a little inside thing. I'm not allowed to.
There we go.
I'd done it a couple of years ago when they were actually playing in the FFA Cup, and it kept going to extra time and then extra time and Aidan said to me afterwards, "You ever comment on our games again, Mum, there'll be big trouble." I think I'd had a couple too many wines that night.
Oh, that's priceless.
That is
well,
brilliant.
I tell you what, don't break your son's rule. I'll give you a shout out anyway because I know you'll be watching.
No worries. Excellent stuff. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Joe.
Joanne. Aidan Bryce's mum.
Aidan Bryce's mum banned from commenting by the club captain, no less.
I did wonder about that. I wonder if the players get embarrassed by the parental influence on the streams because it's constant, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
If you pronounce a surname wrong, you're going to have a family member letting you know.
That's guaranteed. That's guaranteed. You know, between the family commenting and the Asian gamblers jumping in when the stream goes down, it's comments non-stop.
Yeah, so it's a lot of interaction from various parts of the world.
Definitely.
It's great to see.
Definitely. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for tonight. Hope to see you all down at Avenger Park on the weekend, cheering on the Knights, hopefully to get our 4th win of the year. Hope to see you there and back at the club after to celebrate hopefully another wonderful win.
Thanks,
Josh,
Novak.
Pleasure as always, mate.
Been fun.
Been fun. See you all next week.
I think the Knights, their time has arrived. I think last week that 10-man performance in the preliminary final was absolutely exceptional. So I'm going for the Knights.
But when you talk of Knights, it's a real fighting team.
Stuck into the back of the net. Melbourne Knights take the lead 1-0. Melbourne Knights will win the Doherty Cup.
Croatia looking for a finals berth. That's it! The Croatia fans salute the goal that could be so vital.